It was in the Navy.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if nobody's, and some people have been through the military, and I've been through the military, but you go through the military and you go through all this training, you go through all this testing, and they find out, it's funny, it's like your ACT in high school going to college. They test you to see where your strengths and weaknesses are. And at the time, I was 18 years old, I didn't know what my strengths or my weaknesses are. But they found out. They found out that under, I don't know how they found this out, but I was a phone talker. I could be on the phones at general quarters talking to the bridge from the engine room and be as calm as could be. We were under bomb threat with submarines. Our ship was dead in the water with a bearing, and we couldn't do nothing. Here I'm on the phone talking to the bridge, and people were just passing out sick. They were going to die, and I'm sitting there, oh, that's part of my job. That's the way I looked at it. I just didn't panic. I never panicked on stuff like that. I never had I don't know why, but something with the Navy, and then I got on to, I don't know what they call it. Well, we called it back then. I became a radio DJ, but a radio personality for a radio show on the ship. So I was on the radio a lot, talking. So I think part of it is I could be in front of a mic announcing lineups at games and stuff. It wouldn't bother me. It's just a natural thing with me. I don't know. But there's something with the art with that. That's what that is. When you could put yourself in a panic situation, a stressful situation, like something like you're in a ship, you're at war, and I seen the fighting over there. I seen the people fighting and dying, and it is stressful, but I wouldn't panic because I was young and I was kind of naive, and I thought that was part of my job. And when they put me in general quarters, I had to go to the most stressful area, and I had to go down into the engine room. And you don't understand a ship, but they were run by boilers, and there was water and it's steam. And if the water when they go back and forth real fast, the water goes up. If it goes up over, the ship blows up. Okay. And I was on the water levels. I was controlling the valves, and I would tell them. The guy at the bridge would tell me we're going 2/3 back, and they would holler at me, and I would have to adjust my knobs ahead of time. A lot of people couldn't do that. They would freeze. But I was just getting there. Okay, got it set. And then I'd have a guy out. These things were like 40 feet in the air, these little lights. And I have a guy standing up there telling me where the water level was. And I says, my theory was, how do you train? And I think training is part of it, and how the person got trained in if he did get it. And I got it, see? And I never panicked. It was no big thing to me. And it was funny because when I went through all that testing, I mean, we went testing for a week. I don't know what, you do your ACT, you study and you test and you test and you test, and they come out of there and he says, I was high in radio communicating. And it's just funny. And everybody says you should have been on a radio show. Because when I did my radio show, I was the first one that had, what do they call that? I can't remember what they call it. I got on there and people would call in and request a song, and I would call out and says, anybody call in and request a song, I got them here. And people would call in, they never heard that. This was back in the 60s. I was just a kid. Can you imagine? I don't know if they had that back then. I never heard of that before. I heard it now, today's thing, because people would request. I call out there and I request. Anybody want to request a song for somebody here or somebody at home? And I was in Vietnam. So that's funny.